The digital assets economy is exploding right now, and we're talking about the two assets that you need to know about. Welcome to Simulacra. So, we are witnessing a rapid growth and adoption in the digital economy at large. There are so many signs of rapid adoption. It's kind of crazy, but we are still early to Bitcoin. So, if you just got here, don't panic. You're still very much early. I'll be going over how early we are in a separate video. But for today, we're talking about the digital economy, the digital assets economy, and digital finance at large. It's really an exciting time to be in the digital assets economy. And when I talk about digital assets, I mean the digital capital that is Bitcoin. There are many signs to the exploding adoption that we're seeing. So, first, just last week, the Czech central bank bought $1 million worth of Bitcoin. So, this is a test pilot run, but that's really big thing. A central bank buying any amount of Bitcoin, it kind of is like anti central bank. It kind of defeats the purpose of a central bank, and the central bank is to print money and do whatever you want and control the money supply. So, very interesting. We know in 2024 and 2025 that BlackRock, their daily amount of Bitcoin that they were buying, had ramped up to $6,000 a day. And in general, the amount of Bitcoin that was being bought at that time, we saw the highest amount, what was it, 21,000 or 24,000 Bitcoin daily. So, a lot of people are buying Bitcoin. The whales right now are looking to, it looks like they're selling about 5,000 or so Bitcoin daily. And I think, so the price action that happened around 100K is very interesting. I think a lot of people did not take into account how many people were holding since 2000, 10,000, however many Bitcoin to see that $100,000 mark. And if you've been holding for a decade or so, or I mean, since if you've been holding since 2018, if you've been holding since 2020, once you saw that $100,000 mark, I think a lot of people took the opportunity to offload some of their Bitcoin. You know, nothing crazy. If you have a really large portfolio and you offload 10% of it because you want to retire your mom, or retire your dad, or buy yourself a cool new car, who knows? That's your prerogative. And I think it was very underestimated how many people offloaded their Bitcoin. And so the daily amount of Bitcoin that's being transacted is pretty high. If we go to BitInfo chart here, we are seeing that it's 172,000 Bitcoin a day that's transacted right now. That's a lot. So there's a lot of signs that we're seeing due to there's a lot of signs that we're seeing that we can see that this is exploding, but we're still very early. So I'm very happy to be in this space right now, because ultimately Bitcoin is digital capital, and it's incorruptible digital capital, and it's a net positive for the world. And so, at large, there are really two sides to the digital economy. On one side, you have digital assets, and then on the other side, you have digital finance at large. And so, let's talk about the digital assets economy first. So, in the digital assets economy, it's kind of interesting. So, you have two dimensions to the digital assets economy. So, the first dimension is Bitcoin as raw digital capital, and it's what the digital economy will be built on. It'll be the foundational layer. And then the other dimension is all of the credit instruments that are built on top of Bitcoin as digital capital, and the perfect money that it is. So think Michael Saylor, the great Michael Saylor, with strategy, and really the ingenious credit instruments that he has come up with at his company. Basically, they are credit instruments that are perpetual, and they pay monthly dividend cash flows. um, forever. And he can do that because his company is 100% capitalized on Bitcoin. As you can see right here, we have the strategy. I think this is for stretch. They have a lot of different options for credit instruments, but it's a perpetual preferred stock. And perpetual just means forever. So his company and this credit instrument will give you a monthly cash dividend forever. And it's a great way to be in Bitcoin but not have to face the volatility. And that's the really cool thing that Michael Saylor really understands about Bitcoin is the volatility, and the volatility being a feature of the asset. And basically what he's doing is he's just stripping away the volatility and offering monthly credit yields uh, for investing in his company and buying his stock and getting into the Bitcoin community through strategy. It's really ingenious, makes a lot of sense, and you're using the feature of Bitcoin, which is volatility, to generate and create these credit instruments. Okay, so that is the digital assets side of the digital economy. And then you're going to have digital finance at large. And so digital finance at large, just think of tokenization. It's the application of tokenized currencies, securities, baseball cards, tokenized brands, really the tokenization of everything. And that's where stablecoins come in. So basically, a stablecoin is a digital currency that has a stable value, and it has a stable value because it's pegged to a real world asset like US Treasury, the US dollar, gold, etc. And so stablecoins are interesting. I'm not into stablecoins because at at its core, it's just more digital money printing. It's just digital money printing. I guess unless the stable coin is pegged to gold, if you're going to do a true peg to gold, then that makes sense. But if you're just having a stable coin and you're pegging it to the US dollar, but you're printing the US dollar in real life, then you're just printing the dollar digitally. It's the same exact thing. But it seems like all of the players and the powers that be, these institutions, BlackRock, Vanguard, want to tokenize everything and tokenize all assets.
What do you mean by digital?
Uh, I do believe we're just at the beginning of the tokenization of all assets, from real estate to equities to bonds across the board.
So when you hear the word token or tokenization, just think about this flow. Basically, person A, they will deposit a thing. It could be a tangible physical thing. It could be baseball cards, gold, whatever you want to say. It could be their shoe collection. And when it's tokenized, a digital token is created for those reserves that are deposited, or the baseball cards are deposited, etc. And that digital token will match the value of your physical thing 1 to 1. And then a digital token is deployed to your digital wallet, and now you have tokenized a physical real world asset, essentially. And that has pretty cool implications because you kind of can put everything on a 24/7 digital ledger that's able to be sold and bought at any given time. And so it definitely changes the nature of the digital economy and digital finance at large. So we've talked about the digital assets economy, we've talked about digital finance at large, and hopefully all of you can see the digitization and the tokenization of all assets and the explosion in the digital economy that we're seeing right now. Personally, I'm more so focused on Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin is the perfect money in digital capital, and it's incorruptible. And the other aspects of digital finance and the digital economy, the classic institutions are into and muddying the waters. And I like to stay in a protocol such as Bitcoin that's incorruptible and you can't muddy the waters. And so remember to buy Bitcoin at any price, stack your sats, support the video, support the channel, send to your friends, and that's it for today.